Welcome to the Desire to Dream podcast. I'm your host, Lo Wilder. The vision of this podcast is to provide tools on how to become successful in your finances, business, leadership development, and much more. A little bit about me: I grew up in the hood, homeless at the age of 14. I made a choice not to become a product of my environment. And today, I am a successful businessman, community leader, and inspirational speaker. It is my desire to encourage and empower you to unlock your greatness. So tune in and enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Desire to Dream podcast. I'm your host, Lo Wilder. And today, man, it's going to be a phenomenal show because we're going to bring some energy. You know, I got my boy Tirrell Muhammad on the call. Let's go. What's going on, T? How you doing, my brother?
Man, fantastic. Another day in the land of paradise. Brother Lo, it's good to see you. I love the name of the podcast, Desire to Dream.
You can't have one without the other. And I was just talking with Vic about that, man. You have to have the desire, that burning desire, man. And then you got to put in the work to turn that dream into a reality, bro. So
yeah. Turn that dream into a reality and turn that reality into an obsession, right? Right? It's one of them things where we can have desire until there's temporary obstacles, or until. So you and I and everybody have to have an obsession to have that desire to dream. So right up in there is that ingredient.
Yeah, I love it, man. And if you're not, because see, here's the thing, we always talk about the haves and the have-nots, right? Those that have it is because they're obsessed with the dream. They're obsessed with making it a reality, making it into action. And we're going to talk about that, right? Because we talk about the mantra. Share that first, man. Share your mantra on the call, man, for everybody.
Man, 100%. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined, and enthusiastic. I've been saying my mantra, brother, for probably about 18, 20 years now, easily.
Wow. Fire, man. Fire. So T, man, if just for those that don't know who you are, you're killing the game on so many levels. I'm honored to have you on the call for real, man. I mean, you just had Eric Thomas like on our call, like it's nothing. And now here I am. I got you. I'm honored, bro. Like, because you're all the way in the West Coast, man. So definitely appreciate you and I value your time, man. For those that don't know who you are, man, tell a little bit about yourself.
Man, I'm just a San Francisco man that grew up in the city. I grew up in the West Side projects, or social housing projects, if you want to be political, right? Called West Side. Like many people don't know that there is an actual there are projects in San Francisco, but there's several of them. You know what I'm saying? I grew up. Mom was single parent, but we basically made it through. By the age of 14, 15 years old, I was stealing cars. I think by the time I was 17, we stole probably at least 150 cars easily.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow.
Oh, easily. Man. Played with guns, been shot, bro, I had to find a way to really change the environment, not knowing that environment helps actually shape us in some form or fashion. So
absolutely.
I'm just your little brother from San Francisco, man. San Francisco Bay Area.
That's wild, man. And shout outs to San Francisco. I went out there, did a dope trip, man. When I was single, we used to do football trips. And so I went to Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs on a Thursday night football game. Then on Sunday, we had the Cowboys and 49ers. So I was able to catch them 2 games on a weekend. Car got broken into. So, in San Francisco, it is.
You better not leave nothing on. Look, I'm from the city and we don't trust none of them.
Nobody. Hey, I saw a girl on Instagram who cracked all her windows and said, "I'm going to make it easier for you. Please don't break my window."
Oh, yeah. Actually, I was with my wife and we were in the city a few weeks ago. And bro, What they're doing nowadays is they're parking their cars and they're leaving their windows down.
Oh, that's just hey, go ahead. Just go ahead and do it.
Look, don't break my window. That's $300. You know what I'm saying? Easy.
Right.
So look, if you want to go through it, go. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just a totally different environment in San Francisco.
Man. Hey, man. But we got a lot, man, to kind of unfold for everybody, man. You was killing it. Shared your high school football team. Shout out to your team, bro. 2-time state champs, right?
Yeah.
So, was it, you saying you was stealing cars and playing football. What was it that kind of triggered, man, where you was like, man, I got to change the story. I can't just go down this path, because I'm sure at some point you saw like, this isn't going to lead to anything good.
Yeah. When I played, we took the city championship because we didn't have state.
I got you.
Yeah, we didn't have state championships back then. I wish we did. But there was, we got into a system. So me and a few friends, T-Top and others, was able to get into organized sports. And these organized sports, to me, I think is what actually saved us. It really allowed us to get away from the extracurricular activity, right? Because after school, then now you're too tired. Right? You're too tired.
Yeah.
But we dominated the city for 2 years straight easily. And then some of my other friends went on to take a three-peat. But I think what sports today, back then, is still important because it allows us to get into a system. Not knowing you're being coached for life, because I still hear principles of my coaches. I still hear principles of a lot of my teammates on things that I still use today in some form or fashion. I'm always bringing up something to a lot of my guys that really I got from my coaches back in high school.
Right. Man, that's dope. And it's same for me, right? I mean, my coach, man, he was like big brother, man. He was like, he kind of showed me how to be able to like play ball, do what I did on the field, but also took care of stuff in the classroom. Because honestly, I was the first to graduate high school. So, going to college was a long shot. Like I didn't think like, man, I'm gonna go to college and play. But he was the one that first put that, that seed in me, bro. And I was just like, okay, I can make this thing happen, man. So, go ahead.
No, I mean, now I'm gonna be frank, because I was like a C student, in high school, because we didn't, the teachers, the leadership of our high school, as much as I love them, I also have a huge dislike for them, because we didn't have to go to class. Like they would allow us to roam the school, like literally we felt like we was in leadership in high school. So my educational skills really didn't come until I got to college.
Facts.
And that in itself was a extreme shift. And I had to find a way to pivot. So I didn't have the academic skills immediately, but what I did have naturally low was I had people skills.
That right there. It's me and you right there, bro.
Right. So I made friends in school.
Right.
Where I can go over their notes and everything.
Let's go. Hey, I tell people I have photographic memory. I'm like, give me your notes like 5 minutes before class, and I'm gonna, like you said, get that C, B minus.
Yeah.
I'm in there. Let's go.
Yeah. So environment has a lot, and I think you, me, and us, we all have different experiences.
Right.
And for the most part, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're good. But in reality, once we become aware of who we are based on our experiences, then you and I have to be responsible,
right,
to take charge and make the appropriate change where that we can pivot. I remember one of my boys he sent me a message because we were going to go to school on the continent of Africa. In my third year, and I was like, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you're having too much fun and you're in leadership in school, you're not necessarily want to make a change because now you're getting into the unknown.
Right.
Man, he left me a message and he was like, man, you better get in where you fit in. And that was it.
Gotcha. So that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I pondered over that for like 2 days and I was like, you know what? I don't see where all of this is going anywhere. I need to make a shift or a change and actually do something that is going to be of value. So we actually didn't go to school in Africa. They end up changing us and making us go to Paris.
Oh man. Okay.
So I lived in Paris for about 1.5 years, going to school. Everybody spoke English out there, but again, culture differences, mind opening. And when people ask me, well, how was Paris? I was like, bro, it's like living in LA and San Francisco. It's an international city.
Right.
Now, I didn't live in Paris, but I lived 20 minutes outside of Paris called a city called Saint Denis. And Saint Denis was hood.
And nobody know, like, hey, Paris got hoods, huh?
Yeah, bro. I felt like I was in West Oakland. So it's like many people who know West Oakland, it's like hood,
Gotcha. Yeah.
A mind expanded never go back to its original form, right?
Right.
So my mind when I got back was, you know what? As soon as I get back into the States, I'm going to start moving in a direction. And for some reason, real estate kept coming across my plate. So when I got back, I said, you know what? I'm going to get into real estate.
That's what's up.
So I took the test and I failed it like 5 or 6 times.
Because you couldn't take nobody's note. You didn't have nobody with notes.
Bro.
Right.
And this was when you had to wait 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it took me 6 months
to get it.
Yeah.
You ever thought about stopping and just saying, man, the heck with this? Like, I can't pass. Like,
no. I was committed. I was like, I don't care if I had to take it 15 times. I was like, I was obsessed with becoming or getting into real estate because no one in my family had been a part of real estate. And in fact, a lot of my cousins, they was like, oh, and you tripping. Look, I went out before I passed my test. I bought a sweatsuit and I said, call me if you're interested in real estate on my pager.
Hey, obsessed, boy, you was ready. Hey, you was ready.
I was ready.
Word.
I knew that I was, and sometimes in life, you and I have to see ourselves, even when our closest people don't see it. They can't see it.
Right. Because it's for us. I mean, it was given to us. So, like God put that in us so that we can see it, not for everybody else.
Yeah. And after I passed my test, I went all in. I was working 10, 12 hours. Man. And I was killing it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I became the local trade association president within, I think, about 3.5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I saw that, man. The youngest person ever do that, huh?
Yeah. I was the youngest president at that time to come on in the Real Estate Trade Association. I had a great mentor who is a manager of a title company. She was just absolutely amazing. The one thing that she was like, look, and here's a principle here. Listen to your mentors, right? Because she told me, she said, look, I want you to learn and practice in San Francisco. And I was like, nah, I was like, I want to go over to Oakland, because I know a lot of people out in the O.
In your comfort zone, right? Yeah, it was where you was from.
Comfort zone, and she was like, no, you're going to work in San Francisco. And sure enough, she was right. Because what she was saying was, look, you learn the logisticals of San Francisco, which it does have a lot of logistics, then I can send you to New York or any metropolitan area and you will thrive and do extremely well.
Got it. Wow.
Listen to your mentors or your coaches, because sometimes they see a wider range of where you can be. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know.
That's right.
So check it. I was making probably like $30,000-$40,000 a month. I was like, ooh, this is getting good. Let me hire my family. Well, when you start a business, you should learn how to build a team. You should learn roles and responsibilities. Well, Lo, I just told you I was a C student, so I didn't know none of that.
Right. And they don't teach that in school, man.
Yeah, they're not teaching you unless you're doing business management.
Yeah.
So I hired my cousins, I hired my friends. I was paying them $5,000 a month to just follow me around.
Wow. Hey, I bet they loved you, boy.
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. So again, these principles were, the principle here is learn what you need to learn in order to scale to the area by which you are looking to become. So we was doing so good. I was like, hey man, this is it. This is it. And I just started building a team around me, man. So
that's fire, man. Like, making that type of money right at that age, right? And let me just say this now: if you're listening to this podcast and you do not have a mentor, please go find somebody, man. So, and I hope you are. I hope you have one, right? So definitely, mentors. Like, learn from the mentors. We talk about exposure. We talk about how. When you're exposed to certain things, like you were exposed in San Francisco, now you can take that and go anywhere and be successful because you had that exposure. So that's dope, man. And speaking of real estate, because I think a lot of individuals, man, they, I know them, I grew up with them and stuff like that. I got into real estate about 3 years ago, as far as investing in my homes, and we've been able to sell and buy a few homes. And I just want you to kind of share why it's so important to get into real estate. Like, and I'm not saying become a realtor, but invest in real estate. Why is it so important? I know the answer, but I want you to share that with the audience.
Well, here's the deal. We all are in real estate in some form or fashion.
Right.
So whether we are renting, or whether we are owning, we have the ability to decide which area of real estate do we want to be a part of. It's okay to rent for a time being.
Right.
But at a certain point, you and I have to get into compounding our assets so that we can start building what we are looking to build. Like, what's the goal here? The goal is to create a legacy. The goal is to create an endowment. The goal is to create a trust so that our family can live 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
We don't think far enough
Right.
for our future. And I started studying these families that was just very successful. And I realized, Lo, they were planning
Mm-hmm.
their futures 100 years.
Bro, I was telling my wife, I want to plan for 7 generations. You know what I mean? Like
100, yeah.
7 generations. Like we needed, like, so we had a setup for that. But yeah, that's 100 years. Wow.
Yeah, right. And when you are investing in real estate, when you are building your asset, then you can start to do other things that maybe you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember a couple of years in, a friend of mine asked me to invest in his company called Black Wall Street Records.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I saw, talk
and,
about that.
and I was a fan. So I was already a fan.
Right.
So when he was like, look, here's what I'm doing, here's what we're doing, I was like, interesting. Let me think on it, and then I'll get back to you. And it was easy. I had already made up my decision, but my high C was like, well, let me just reverse engineer what's going to be needed. And I think I put 25,000-30,000 into the company. And I knew they were good.
Right.
But I didn't know they were that good.
Right. I seen some of the, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Eventually he ended up launching out the game, which became a multi-platinum artist, right?
Right.
When we set up systems.
Another principle. Let's go.
Yeah, right. Because there's 2 systems that we have to learn in life. One, if we're in business, we need to learn and master SOPs, standard operating procedures.
Mm-hmm.
But in life, we also need to learn LOPs, life operating principles, to protect ourselves from ourselves.
Speak on it.
Lo, I realized that most of my failures have always been from myself.
Right. Facts.
So when we were making and doing high volume on a monthly basis, our values and principles were terrible. We were partying, staying up 2 days, 3 days straight.
Wow.
So you can do that when you're younger.
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's not a good habitual principle to live on a short and long-term basis.
Right.
So we have to start developing LOPs, rituals, mantras, and missions that help us have more breakthroughs than breakdowns.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, because it helps us to visualize where we're going. Right.
Yeah, 100%.
It keeps us on track. It keeps us focused and efficient at what we're doing. Because, I'm not gonna lie, man, after graduating from college, and I started my career with the corporation I'm with now, I didn't really have that, LOP. Right. So I was just going with it. My boys said, yo, we're going over here. I went over there. And financially, I wasn't where I needed to be. And then next thing you know, my goals started going down with it. So that's important. Very important.
Yeah. And when normally we operate off of values and principles. Mm-hmm. We sometimes just are not clear of what those values and principles are, because they may have been one of our social peers, ride or die, right? So we have these principles by which we live by, but the reality is, do they really conform to our short and long-term goals?
That's good. That's good.
When we start to conditioning ourselves with our mission and mantra, I mean, we talk about this a lot, and people's like, I wish I stopped talking about it. Right? And I get it, actually. I actually get it. But Muhammad Ali used to say his mantra, he had several of them, but he used to say, I am the greatest, so much, so throughout his career, that we started to even believe him that he was the greatest. Now, today, we still call him what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said it with conviction. And it was like, yep. So we started believing for sure.
Yeah. And if you watch his interviews, there are many interviews where he said that I said it so much, I was training my subconscious mind to help me when I was in the ring as well as out of the ring. Because he was fighting two worlds. One was in the ring and the advocacy for our people. So when you and I don't have a mission of our own, you can bet we're working off of somebody else's. We just need to be aware of what that is so that we can either course correct or double down on what it is that you and I want. Here's another example. I bought my wife a Mercedes SUV last year. And for some reason, every time we hit the block nowadays, what do you think I always see now, Lo? I always see this Mercedes SUV. I'm like, come on, it's everywhere. The principle here is when we set ourselves up for these principles, these missions, then we're going to start recognizing it everywhere.
Because it brings that in, and you start having awareness of that mission or whatever it is, whatever that goal is.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, man. So what do you got for individuals that are like struggling? Like, what is the one thing that they can start doing now? Like, is it going and writing pen to pad? And what's the first step they should do? Or maybe 2 or 3, you know?
Yeah. So the first thing that I normally say to do is to create a mantra for yourself. And if you don't have one, I would say take Muhammad Ali's I am the greatest. Because the reality is we have to and need to start conditioning ourselves to be authentic with ourselves. And that's sometimes a little hard to do, Lo.
Right.
Because you know, that principle, the old principle was fake it till you make it.
Right.
I hate that principle. Not that it doesn't help or serve you in a situation, but the reality is you're not who you say you are and or who you are looking to be and become. And so we're not going to struggle or sacrifice where it is that we are so that we can become the person that we need to be that CEO of our family, to be that CEO of our corporation, to be that leader that we need to be. I was just having breakfast with the local chief of police this morning. And he just happens to be from San Francisco, so we were just chopping it up.
Right.
But we were talking about how environments matter. you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
We have to figure out a way that is going to make us be uncomfortable, but be uncomfortable in a way that we are now evolving
Mm-hmm.
ourselves into the best version of ourselves.
That's it. Yeah, that's fire. That's fire, man. So, man, with that, right? You know, we're in the King's Accountability Group. And we have this accountability group. We got people that we hold each other accountable towards our goals. We talk about our wins. You're like, how important is it for people to, once they got that mantra, that because you can write it down, say I'm the greatest, put it on the wall, but who's going to hold you accountable for that? Like,
Yeah,
who's going to
yeah,
actually hold you? So how important is that? And, you know, and shout outs to the group, man, and the fellas, because I just go extremely harder now because I have individuals that I don't want to let down, you know?
yeah,
So I got my
yeah,
why, which is my family, my wife, my son, but now I got these group of individuals that are rooting for my wins, and also we're all helping each other, iron sharpening iron,
yeah,
right? And so it's important, you know, it's very
yeah,
important.
yeah. The why becomes the ingredients to our mantra.
Mm,
And once we start, see, the mantra gets us up and out, right? But once we start having a mantra, now we can start creating routines and systems around what we say and who we are.
mm.
Let me give you an example. I remember that I've changed my mantra probably over 300 times in 20 years, easily,
Mm-hmm.
right? But my mantra used to include being a millionaire. I said, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right? And I used to repeatedly say it over and over. And that's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Making millions was important to me until I lost 4 million.
Mm. Hey, repeat that, please. That's crazy.
Making millions it was a part of my value system.
Mm-hmm.
It was a part of my principle. But when I lost over $4 million,
Man.
it no longer, like the only thing that was important to me, Lo, was happiness.
Mm. I love that, man. That's fire.
My girlfriend at the time, as I was losing money, I told her, this may be a good time for you to jump ship. Now, she's my wife today.
Hey. That's
But
what's up.
I saw the money going so fast that I was left with about $158 in my bank account.
Mm.
I asked my girlfriend at the time to pay my cell phone bill.
Mm.
I asked her to pay my mother's cell phone bill because I was paying my mom's bills too.
Wow.
So again, it's not wrong to have that a part of your model if that is what you are looking to achieve. But as we mature, we have to determine what it is of value to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me back up a little bit because I mean we talked about the real estate, we talked about investing in this record company, but we were so out of the box that we decided to start an airlines.
Mm.
And this airlines was the laughing stock of all of our friends.
Mm. The
So
founders of Soul Plane. No.
Bro,
Hey.
it felt like this is the direction that it was going to go.
Mm.
But we literally took 5, 6, 7 years and built an airlines from scratch. It literally started off on a piece of paper in a cafe in downtown Oakland.
That's fire, bro. Wow.
Right. And eventually we raised over $51 million in capital. Bought 2 717s. Okay. When you desire to drink,
right,
it turns into an obsession. So sometimes we have to isolate ourselves, Lo, until we can be authentic with ourselves and start having small wins. That is where the mantra comes in. We should start saying it 7 to 12 times a day, but eventually you want to say it 50 to 100 times per day.
Start conditioning your mind for it. I love it.
We start conditioning our mind for success or the very best version of ourselves. Now, if you can say that you're the best version of yourself, then salute to you. Like that is what we are all striving for.
Right. That's facts.
So we got to get to the point where we know what our LOPs are, what our SOP. They protect us from ourselves. We all have blind spots. We all have triggers. When these triggers come up, we need to be like, that's a trigger. And start working on, well, what's the best version of Lo?
Right.
Like, what does that look like? I don't necessarily like working out in the morning, but I have the 5 a.m. breakfast club that holds me accountable. We have to create. So like you were saying, the point of accountability is you get around others that are like-minded, and we're all striving not to compete,
right,
but to be the very best version of you.
Love it.
Your family. So I'm not saying you just create one. I say look around who's around you, because in reality, you already got one.
Right. Right. That's true.
So the question is, do you have the right people that is helping and shaping, architecting, designing, engineering the life that you know that you are purposeful to have?
Right. And that's why I say, man, hang around and surround yourself with individuals that celebrate you and not just tolerate you. Like, you need to be around people that are celebrating your wins and also challenging you to continue to pull, stretch, expand, and grow and develop into the best version that you want to be.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yeah. Hey, so you started, kind of pivot, with the TMG, it's your business, talk a little bit about that, man. And I love to hear more about it.
Yeah. So today, my wife and I have a real estate corporation, TMG Consulting and Development. I do a lot of consulting and development. She does a lot of the sales portion of what we do. And, we just work to live the life that we want. We work to live the future that we desire, right? So at the end of the day, my goal has always been to add as much value as possible that I can to my family, to my peers, to the industry that I'm a part of. And just I want to be the very best version of us.
Word.
And I know the very best version of us is multiple businesses, continue building our asset portfolio, continue to maybe relaunch the airlines, right?
That'll be dope.
These are like goals for myself because I know we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm just having fun with life.
That's good, man.
Right? Because as we work, we want to have fun.
Right.
We want to, like, I can decide. My wife and I get a lot of requests to go to a lot of things, but I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, disciplined, and enthusiastic. She has her mantra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We only do things that are of value to either her or me or both, right? Next week, 2 weeks from now, something like that, we'll be at the San Francisco mayor birthday party, right?
Connections.
These are valued events that can add value.
Absolutely. Man,
And we just need to create LOPs and SOPs around what we're building, but you can't build those if you and I are scattered all over the place. You don't have a sense of direction
mm-hmm.
of where you and I are going in life.
Yeah. That's
but
good.
Once we do that, Lo, we can now start the process of really becoming the very best version of ourselves. We can say no more often than not, unless it adds value to you and your family's life, to your business that you're building,
mm-hmm.
and others around you and I, bro.
Absolutely. That's fire. And look, and for those that are listening, don't feel bad because it's your life. And, you know, you have this mantra, you have this goals, you got this vision that you have for yourself and your spouse, your family. We're talking about generation after thinking about the future generations that are coming after. So it's okay to say no to something that doesn't add value to you. So if you're listening to this podcast, we definitely want to challenge you and encourage you, man, to know like it's okay. So write down your mantra, write down your goals, and really start to surround yourself with individuals that are going to help you and add value to those goals and dreams. Man, that's fire, T.
And let me say this, if you and I are unsure of where we are at, the best strategy that we can use is to go into a reclusiveness where that you don't talk to your friends or family for a couple days. You can take it to another level by fasting and praying during that time period so that you and I can go inward so that we can come out with at least a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And stay in that zone until you actually are ready to get out of the gate. Because what's a few days or a few weeks of seclusion, of getting your mind right, getting your family in the right direction? Like this takes us to a whole nother level.
Facts. Absolutely.
Of life.
Yeah. That's that next that next living, man, next level living. So definitely, man. Hey, that's fire, man. Yo, T, look, I appreciate you, bro. We definitely got to bring you back, man. There's just so much more that I want to talk about on the podcast, man. But definitely respect you and value your time, man. And bro, I can't wait to get out there next year. We're gonna link up. You're gonna be at the 120 conference?
I am scheduled to be out there for the 110. I have some conflict of scheduling, but okay. I'm normally at all the events. I've been at all the events for the last 6-7 years, with E&M, and again, man, I'm a student. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily like being in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, the more that we learn, the more that we advance, the more that we have successes, the more that we fail. These are the recipe of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait for the Conference 120. And look, bro, this is our life. This is what we're looking to build. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And so we have to continue on that path and that routine to make us and protect us.
Man, facts. Man, listen, man, appreciate you. Your social media handles are going to be in the description for those of you that want to follow T. Man, look, man, you're an inspiration to a lot of people, man. Even when you don't know it, man, people are looking at you and they are inspired. And I just know I'm one that, you know, I love it, man, and I love growing and developing with you guys, man. And I look forward to continually growing and collaborate, man. Any last words you want to share with everybody before you leave?
No, man, get connected, stay plugged into Desire to Dream, stay plugged into systems, people, environment, those people who give us good feelings and can teach and coach us. Get wrapped up in it and become obsessed.
Yes, I love it.
Become obsessed with becoming the very best version of you. That is it. And then the recipe, you know, we can start tweaking on the routines and system based on goals. But if we don't get around the right people and stay plugged into Desire to Dream and other data points, information that helps us, then we're going to be in the same place as we was last year.
And we don't want that for you. So everyone that's listening, stay connected, man, and just continue to develop, man. I encourage each and every one of y'all to continue pushing, push, man, grind it out, man. T, once again, man, it was a pleasure having you on, my brother.
Oh, man, my pleasure. Come on,
Let's go. Hey, man, look at everybody that's listening. Please like and share, man, and stay tuned in to the Desire to Dream podcast. I'm your boy, Lo Wilder. I got my boy T on it today.
Come on,
hey.
Desire to Dream, baby. Desire to Dream. Let's go.
Hey, be easy, man. God bless everybody.
Back at you, Lo. Peace out.